Hey guys, Fractal here, and this is a video that I've been planning on making for quite a while, and it's about time that I've gotten the time to go ahead and make it. In this video I'm going to try to argue why I think veganism is retarded and a cult. Basically, I'm going to try to bring up some of the more common vegan arguments and try to show why they're full of shit. The first and most common vegan argument that I ever hear is basically animal suffering. They try to tell you that because you eat meat, that makes you an evil, immoral person because you cause unnecessary animal suffering just to satisfy your appetite. And I'm going to demonstrate why this has absolutely nothing to do with the reason why vegans don't eat meat and why they're full of shit. I basically asked them a really simple question, which is, if animal suffering is your main reason behind being vegan, then what if I go in the wild and I shoot a tranquilizer dart at a wild deer, which are overpopulating some parts of the United States anyway? Would you eat their meat with me? 100% of all vegans, to be fair, except one single vegan I've ever asked this question, have told me no. So, animal suffering doesn't really have anything to do with it, does it? Because even when an animal doesn't suffer at all, not being captive in the meat industry and suffering like kind of harsh conditions growing up, neither did it suffer before it got killed. It had a life free in the wild, and then it died without suffering even the slightest bit. They would still not eat it. 100% of them, except one single vegan, have said that they would refuse. So again, animal suffering has absolutely nothing to do with it. And animal suffering is basically an extremely bad argument by itself. And the reason for that is, if you would ask me, would you like to suffer tremendously and stay alive, or for us to kill you and you not suffering anymore at all? I would tell them I would absolutely rather keep on living and suffering than being killed right on the spot. But vegans do kill organisms in order to eat. They kill plants, fungi, and a bunch of other stuff. They just have this kind of arbitrary line that they draw between certain types of organisms that they decide that are evil and immoral to eat, to other organisms which are fine to eat. And you can kill as many plants as you feel like it. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't have any kind of impact on morality. Well, you kill plants without even giving them any kind of choice. But you say that killing animals is wrong because they're able to feel suffering. Well, what is suffering? Basically, all it is activation of the nervous system. So basically what you're saying is that you should not eat animals that have a nervous system. And you can't avoid this being a completely arbitrary kind of choice. Are plants to blame for them not having this kind of defense mechanism? Is it their fault that evolution did not allow them to have a nervous system or an ability to feel pain? The reason we feel pain is so that we could avoid danger. Plants have other mechanisms that allow them to do just that without needing to feel pain. Again, evolution is a completely random process. So why is it that pain is something that that decides whether or not an organism should live, or is it moral or not to kill it. Again, it goes back to, I would prefer to live and suffer than to die, but you don't give a plant that choice. By killing a plant, you're killing its ability to produce any offspring, and so forth. You're killing it no matter how you look at it. It's a living organism no matter how you look at it. So, animal suffering is arbitrary, and like I showed before, is nothing more than an excuse. The second most common argument that I hear from vegans is kind of a non-argument, because basically they say that you shouldn't eat meat because you have to kill animals for it. But like I said before, you have to kill plants to eat even as a vegan, so that doesn't really make you any more moral than a meat eater, because this causes death and this causes death. But not only that, one cow can feed a whole lot of people, and while killing only one organism. An entire cow that weighs probably half a ton is only one organism, while to make a salad, you have to kill dozens of organisms, if not hundreds of organisms, depending on which kind of salad you eat. Eating bread is basically killing a bunch of organisms. Any kind of vegan food you eat involves a lot more organisms killed than eating meat. Now, I'm not saying that I eat only meat in order to reduce the amount of killing that I do, because basically my moral guideline is, if I'm hungry, I need to eat. I don't really, I'm not required to make any kind of arbitrary decisions as to what I should kill in order to eat and what I should not kill. Because as soon as you get into that kind of realm, then you must define by which guideline do you discern between the different types of organisms, which belongs to the group you should kill and which belong to the group that you should not kill. The third most common argument that I hear from vegans and vegetarians is basically, you shouldn't kill animals even for food, because animals are like us. They have emotions and they have a highly developed cognitive ability. And again, I can prove that this is nothing more than a lame excuse. And again, I do it by asking an extremely simple question. And the question is, would you eat shrimps, fish, or clams, for instance, just to name a few? 100% of all vegans that I've asked this question told me that they would not eat these kind of animals. And they would even go ahead and call them animals, even though they have no more capacity for intelligence and emotion than plants do. So there again, it's nothing more than a lame excuse. Intelligence has absolutely nothing to do with the reason that you don't eat animals. Now, the reason why I think that vegans are in a cult, especially the ones who followed into veganism after watching Gary Yourofsky, I think his name is, who gave a speech on why meat eaters are the most evil, vile people alive, and why vegans are the saviors of the world and that kind of stuff. He's obviously a cult leader. I mean, but not all vegans are vegans because of him, but all vegans share this kind of cult mentality, where when you try to challenge their beliefs, they come up with incoherent, irrational answers to your questions, or bring up arguments that try to attack you rather than actually coming up with any kind of coherent answer or explanation. So, I would like to actually encourage discussion on this topic. So if any of you are vegans or vegetarians and you happen to watch this video and you would like to answer any of my arguments, I read all of my comments, and you're more than welcome to leave me a comment or a video response. I'll be more than happy to respond to them. Have a nice day, guys, and I hope we actually get to have a discussion about this topic because I find it kind of fascinating.